welcome back to the number one show on Spotify.
And in America.
Did you see the Chicken Little views on YouTube, really?
No, what is it? 177 views?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, that one popped off. I don't know. 0 comments, though.
Yeah, the one where we were the most tired.
Mm-hmm.
But we got 3 likes. Can you see who likes it?
No, I cannot.
With 4 likes now, because I just did it.
One of them is me. You haven't been liking our things? That's like running for office but not voting for yourself.
I think I've done most of them. Once they started coming out on the actual podcast platform, I keep forgetting that they're also on YouTube, so I need to go look at them there too.
Let's get into the unruly segment. And then we'll talk about Twins, 1988.
This movie, man.
Best movie.
Since it was 1988, I knew it was going to be a trip, but it was more than I was bargaining for. So make us unruly, and then I'll just show everyone how unprepared I am, or was, for this movie.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
This one's very topical. Would you rather have Danny DeVito or Danny Trejo play you in a movie?
Ooh, I'm about to get lots of hate. I know as soon as I see him.
Trejo?
Oh, yeah. I know who Danny Trejo is. What the heck?
Yeah.
That's a really hard question. I think Danny Trejo.
It is.
I think I would take Danny Trejo. He's real
take
cool.
Him?
I think so. I like him a lot.
I think it's dependent on, do you want your...
what's the vibe of my biopic?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Is it hysterical, or is it, dramatized? Action.
Yeah.
Still might pick Trejo. It might not matter. I might just pick Danny Trejo.
I think I'm going DeVito on this one.
You going DeVito? Why is that?
Yeah. It'd just be so funny. I feel like
that's exactly what I look like.
Yeah, that's literally me. That's what I'd be thinking while I was watching it.
For me, it would be perfect. Because, it doesn't matter who I choose. It'll be hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, Danny Trejo he's kind of he does more serious movies than Danny DeVito, but he's also kind of in a lot of silly movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure. He's in Spy Kids, which I'm not knocking Spy Kids. I love Spy Kids. It's so great.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's like their fake uncle in that one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
I
think
they
he's
call
their
him
real uncle.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought that they were the kids called him uncle, and then he's
Cheech?
like, "Don't call me that. I'm not your uncle."
I think he is their literal uncle. Great. Now, well, that's fine. We'll just add Spy Kids to our list, and we can get into all the Spy Kids lore.
Yeah, we can.
and
really dive
family
deep.
Dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
Or lack thereof.
That'll be educational.
Mm-hmm. And we'll have to do what? Are there... There's definitely 3 original ones. With the original kids.
There's also Spy Kids 4D.
I think we're up to 5 now.
What?
There's Spy Kids 3D. Is there also a Spy Kids 4D?
Yeah, and it's the 4th movie, and the gimmick was that it's in 4D.
After they already did Spy Kids 3D, because the gimmick for Spy Kids 3 was it was in 3D.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
This is such a tangent.
Except Spy Kids 4D
4.
is an abominable movie.
Oh my gosh, it is in 4D. I mean, 4D.
Yeah, you can smell the fart jokes.
The Aromascope. Okay, so I knew this one, but I've only ever seen it on, like, Netflix, so obviously didn't have it in 4D on Netflix.
You didn't get the full experience. They should re-release it.
Fart experience. But yeah, I think we're up to 5, because there's also Spy Kids Armageddon that came out in 2023.
Really?
So, yep.
How did I not hear about this?
That one has Gina Rodriguez and Zachary Levi in it.
Holy cow.
As, like, the adults. Yeah. So, that was just last year, son.
This movie probably sucks, too.
I mean, I think it has, like, 2 stars. Oh, 4.3 out of 10. So, 2 out of 5.
Oh. I thought it was 4.3 out of 5. I was like, whoa.
No.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll watch a Spy Kids in the future.
Maybe. We'll definitely watch.
I only like the first two, though.
Mm-hmm. First two are pretty good. The third one's not horrific.
No, it's not terrible.
Because is that the one that has Elijah Wood in it?
I find it hard to look at.
Does it have Elijah Wood in it? Yeah. Okay, that's the one I'm thinking of.
The joke that he's in is really funny. Because he's just there for like 5 seconds, right? Yeah.
No, I'll mess around with up to 3. But yeah, fourth, I like started the fourth one watching it with Hudson because it was on Netflix, and I was like, no.
Yeah. Terrible.
But anyway, that's not what this episode is about.
Let's talk about a good movie. Actually, no. What do you think about this movie? I don't know any of your thoughts. We didn't talk anything about it.
Let's talk about this movie. Okay, so I'm curious.
I also didn't know what to expect when going in.
Yes. Really. So I expected a couple of things, but we're talking about Twins, which is a movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Danny DeVito, who play twins separated at birth.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, not just twins, but identical twins separated at birth.
They're not identical.
I think they said at one point that they were identical, didn't they?
No. Arnold explicitly states that we're not identical.
Okay. I misheard that, and I heard that is him saying we are definitely identical. And I was like, yes, you definitely are.
Because when DeVito's in prison, he's like, I'm your brother. And he's like, yeah, we really look alike. He's like, we're not identical. But yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, that makes more sense. Okay, anyway. Still funny. But they play a set of fraternal twins who were separated at birth because they were, well, Julius, is that Schwarzenegger's character, is like being brought to be this, I don't know, I just like couldn't stop thinking about Captain America basically as they were like saying that they're trying to build this like superhuman person who's like perfect and has like so much empathy and is like physically perfect and everything. And I was like, you guys were just really trying to create Captain America, weren't you?
Yeah. He's like the Uberman, the ideal of human evolution.
So then Schwarzenegger's character is like being raised on an island because his mom died in childbirth. And then he gets told that he has a twin brother. And, okay, so if we're going to start talking about things that we hate and that we hate, they're like telling the story of them, and they're like, well, Julius was like the perfect one that we were waiting for. So I took him to this remote island and I raised him as my own, as like on this beautiful island with all of his needs met, taught him everything we ever needed to know. And Vincent, we just shipped him off to an orphanage. And I was like, what? Well, what?
Wait.
Also, you can't convince me
Why?
that like, what?
Why is that surprising? Is that surprising? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, not from the premise of the movie, but also like because the twins were unplanned. There weren't supposed to be two.
Yeah.
There was only supposed to
Which
be
is
one.
also funny. It's also funny that they didn't know that there was a second twin in there.
Correct. Yeah. Stupid. But they're
They
like,
never did an
surprise,
ultrasound.
when the babies were born, they were like, Julius was born and it was incredible. And then 2 minutes later came along Vincent. And we didn't know. And I'm like, sure. And also they hold up these like almost toddlers as they're showing off these like newborn babies.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, these are the oldest babies I've ever seen in my life. But no, like, it's just a ridiculous thing because they're like, Julius, who's the one we were expecting, so I took him and I gave him the perfect life, and then we just like shipped Vincent off to an orphanage. Where there are two things with that: you're garbage people. You had all of the resources to take in the second one. Don't tell me you didn't. You did. You could have done it. Second of all, don't even dare try to convince me that scientists wouldn't be all over this. They'd be like, heck, there's two of them? Sweet. Double the data. They would have shipped him off specifically to keep an eye on him and do some of that, like, environment.
Except that DeVito is, like, the genetic inferior. So, like...
Yeah, because later we're talking to one of the doctors, and he's like, okay, so I need to learn more about science, but no, okay, because that scientist was later talking about the twins, and he's like, yeah, when the eggs split, like, Julius got all of the good stuff, and Vincent got all of the leftover crap. Yeah. That's identical twins. Identical twins come from the same egg. Fraternal twins are two different eggs that were fertilized at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
They are identical.
This movie is so factually incorrect.
Well, I guess it kind of makes sense because the sperm was made up of 5 different... peoples. 6?
6. Mm-hmm.
I thought it was 5 men.
6.
It doesn't matter. 6 dudes' sperms, which I don't know if that's even possible. It probably isn't. But I guess if you have, I don't know. It doesn't make sense, obviously.
No, none of this makes sense. I was watching this movie and I was like, this is so crazy. But anyway, so Julius gets told that he has a twin brother, which he never knew. They're like 35. And he's like, I must go. My brother needs me. He is in danger. You're like, You just found out you had a brother 2 seconds ago. How do you know that he needs you and that he's in danger? But he does. He goes in a rowboat 30-some miles to get to an airport to then fly and go into the real world for the first time ever. He has never been exposed to the real world. He was raised on this remote desert island. And they just let him leave. Yeah, tropical. Beautiful tropical island. By himself to just, like, go to... Where was he? California. Los Angeles?
Probably.
Yeah. It doesn't
matter. What else is there?
Wherever.
San Francisco?
It's gotta be because... Yeah. It was California for sure, because then later they were driving to New Mexico Houston. And then to Houston. Yeah. And they go... Because honestly, I guess I wasn't paying that close of attention. I just kind of assumed they ended up in New York because that's where 98% of movies take place.
Yeah.
And then he goes... And then Julius is like, Vincent, I have to get to New Mexico. You could take me because it's on the way to Houston. And I was like, all right, we are obviously not in New York.
Yeah. If you're like if you're someone from a different country and you don't know American geography, you must assume that like 90% of America is just New York City, because that's where every movie takes place.
Also because I am American, grew up here, and every once in a while I'm like, that's right, 90% of the country is not New York City, even though it seems like it is, based off of every movie I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was real upset that they just like sent one of these kids off to an orphanage. And they were just like, bye.
Think about how he felt.
It didn't turn out well for him.
Yeah.
When we meet him, Danny DeVito's not a good dude.
No.
His name is Vincent. And also somehow he has, I don't know, his hair. That ponytail, man. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Twas a choice to give Danny DeVito a hair. My favorite thing was that it was his ponytail and he's still like bald on top.
Yeah. Ponytail, but nearly bald on top of his head.
That was a good look.
Almost all of it's gone.
But, okay, so seeing that this was Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that they were playing a set of twins separated at birth, I was so excited to watch this because I was like, it's going to be dumb, but it's going to be hysterical. I think I laughed out loud once.
Yeah. Yeah.
One whole time.
I think that's fair enough.
to laugh
I
out
don't
loud
think
once.
Yeah.
That's
I don't think
good
it's
enough.
it's a big gust. No. I think it's fair to say that like it wasn't like hysterical. Like
No. No, it really wasn't, and I was really sad about it. Also, like, the reason we watched this movie is because our mother told us to. And I'm just so excited to hear why she wanted us to watch this movie. Because I hated so many things about it.
It's a hilarious concept.
It is.
Like you got two of the most charismatic people to ever live in the movie.
Yeah.
And they're long lost siblings. That's pretty fun.
Who were supposed to be long lost twin brothers when they could not look any more different. Like it's really funny. It's a really funny premise. But I can't figure out exactly why it didn't land well. And I'm wondering if it's like a time difference too. Like the time that it was made in.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the jokes, I was like, nope, that's not funny. Like the one where he had to leave the orphanage because he and a nun were in a relationship. He was 12 years old. And she was an adult. I was so mortified. I was like, that's not funny. That's not funny at all. And they're like,
yeah, that's a crime.
He just yeah, right. I was like, that's actually very illegal and not great. And they're like,
that's called
he disgraced her.
Rape.
Yes. He's like, he disgraced her, and then he like stole all of our money on the way out. And I was like, no. None of this is true.
Maybe she was more like a nun in training. Like
no, it doesn't matter. She was an adult for sure. Yeah. And so like there were just some of things like that just like didn't land for me, where I was like, nope. But jokes have changed so much since like 1988 when this came out.
Yeah.
Which Ty and I were doing the math, and I think we figured out that Danny DeVito was like 40, 42-ish when he filmed this movie. And he's supposed to be playing a 35-year-old.
Yeah.
Which, like, is not that big of a difference. I just thought it was still funny that they were still trying to pass him off as 35, and he's like half bald.
So, wait,
but then I realized he was actually only like 42. I don't know how old Schwarzenegger was. He was born in 47. So he's 3 years younger than DeVito, because DeVito was born in 44.
Okay. Yeah. It's
So,
weird that they aged them down so much then.
Yeah, like, why not make them 40,
Yeah.
like their actual age?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Also, why'd the American government, like, make the perfect human and then just raise him on an island?
Yeah, just raise him on an island and then just, like, let him leave when he wanted to go chase after his twin brother.
Yeah. Yeah, then he just gets to go.
This is, okay, so this is hysterical because we're talking about this, and it's like, he went to go find his twin brother, and, like, he's not a great person, and so then they start to get to know one another. There's a whole other plot inside of this movie as well, which is that Danny DeVito's character, Vincent, is horrible, owes some people some money, so he's stealing cars to try and make that money to pay back these loan sharks who are coming after him. And then he ends up stealing this car that has some sort of engine in it, like in the trunk, that is supposed to get delivered to Houston. And, like,
Yeah.
a bunch of people end up dead because he stole it from the wrong people. And he's supposed to be taking it to Houston and then getting like a $5 million cut. And he took it from this real dude who's trying to do it. And so, like, there's like this whole subplot within this thing. This is a wild movie.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But I kind of like this movie.
Okay. Tell me why.
Honestly, I don't know. It's not really a gut buster. I'll say that.
No.
It was, but I found it like kind of charming and entertaining. I think it rests solely on the performances of Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger because, yeah, I love Schwarzenegger. He's like really good, like one of those like stars that's like in the biggest things, but also actually has like talent, which like I would say like he's like the Rock of his time, except that the Rock doesn't have a lot of talent. But yeah,
The Rock's gonna come for us now.
the Rock's gonna come for us.
It's also not gonna stop me from
Sing
watching
to us.
Red
It's
One.
about drive. It's about power. We stay hungry.
We stay hungry, we devour. Put in
But-
the work, put in the hours.
But seeing like Schwarzenegger just go around LA, just being like both like completely oblivious and also like super like kind and optimistic.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I liked it.
No, I did honestly like Julius, like Schwarzenegger's character. I think DeVito's character was just so unlikable. Like, I felt no endearment towards him.
Really?
But then when I thought back on, like, his terrible life, I was like, okay, you can see why he turned out the way he did. But also, like, I had to think about those things in order to kind of like him.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like him. I didn't like the way he treated his girlfriend. Like, that super turns me
Didn't
off
like
when,
him being
like,
a womanizer?
she's super sweet, and he's being a jerk, like, the whole time to her. He's not nice. Like, ever, at any point to her.
Yeah. That was one thing that was kind of disappointing about the ending.
Yeah.
Or the ending with like him and Danny DeVito and his girlfriend's relationship. Is that like he comes back, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry for abandoning you in New Mexico. And he
Yeah,
has,
because he
like,
drove
flowers for her.
away and left them all in New Mexico on the side of the road.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she's like, no, I hate you. You suck. And then she opens the door to her room and it has a bunch of flowers.
So
and then
many
she's
flowers.
like, "Oh, you're so sweet." What? How did that change your mind?
Yeah.
He still left you in New Mexico. Just because he can buy flowers doesn't mean he's
He's a
guy.
changed man.
Yeah.
For real. No, I was so upset. Yeah. I would have felt
was
better
funny.
if Vincent had gotten punched in the face at some point by either Linda or Marnie.
Yeah.
I did like
Definitely.
Marnie, though.
There needed to be a much bigger like come to Jesus moment for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I feel it with his brother. I feel it with Schwarzenegger, where I feel like he cares about him and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't feel it with his girlfriend. Like, yeah.
Nope.
But yeah,
No,
I
there
liked
was
Marnie.
was not great character development there on that section of it. I was just like, at the end, spoiler alert, at the very end, they're like both married the girls, who are sisters, by the way. Married the girls, and
Yeah.
like they walk up and they have twins. They each have a set of twins of their own and everything. And I was just like, gross. Linda's stuck with Vincent. This sucks.
Yeah.
I was like, no,
That
they
was
brought kids into it. It's going to be harder to leave him. Ugh. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that dynamic in the slightest. But no, you're correct. Like, Julius is just like a sweet, kind, super optimistic character who can also beat the living crap out of anybody he wants to.
Yeah.
But, like, doesn't unprovoked, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's this
I
whole
like the
subplot where
joke
they find
where-
out... Go ahead.
I like the joke after one of the guys comes to collect money from Vincent, and Julius beats him up, and then he's like, "Actually, I hate violence." And then Vincent's like, "Why? You're so good at it."
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like this is one of those movies where if I watched it again and I learned a couple of like quotes, it's quotable and probably more like applicable to do some quotes and be funny
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I feel that way about The Office. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I don't really like The Office that much, but like they
I'm just kidding.
for sure have some really quotable lines that
Yeah.
like are funnier, or I just like to watch the clips of things. So I feel like this movie is kind of that. But then they also have this other subplot where they go and find their mom.
Mm-hmm.
Because it turns out she's not dead.
She's not
They
dead.
got lied to. And she
Yeah.
got lied to as well because she was never told that there were twins. And then she also got told that Julius died shortly after childbirth.
Mm-hmm. That was crazy.
It's like when you say all this, like these plot points out loud, it's just really depressing.
Yeah.
Like that's all really, really crappy stuff.
And then the U.S. government did all this, broke a family, and like made Vincent's life hell, and then did nothing with it.
Nothing. And then Julius was just left the island because he was like, I gotta go. And goed.
Nobody had a problem with that.
Nobody had a problem. Nobody tracked him down. Nobody ever like brought him back. But also, we don't know what he was doing beforehand. All we see is him on this like tropical island learning stuff, reading books, and practicing martial arts. But
Yeah.
that's it. And then he goes and rows 40 some miles in a rowboat to get to the airport so he can go find his brother.
Yeah.
Also, where is he getting his money?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, and Vincent says like, "Oh, you grew up on an island where you had no need for money and stuff like that."
Mm-hmm.
And Schwarzenegger doesn't deny it, but
Yeah.
then if that's really true, where did he get money? Where is the money that he has?
Show me the
How does he-
dollars.
How does he get DeVito out of jail? There's little part when Schwarzenegger arrives, and then he sees a poster for the movie Rambo with Sylvester Stallone.
With Sylvester Stallone on it, and he's like comparing his muscles.
Yeah.
That was funny. I did chuckle at that one.
That was a little funny.
That was funny, and then should I tell you the part that made me laugh out loud?
Yeah.
And it wasn't even the movie itself. It kind of was, but it was more of like the commentary that I was doing leading up to it, asking Ty a question, and then it got answered. So it's at the like towards the end when DeVito has like delivered the engine, but he's being chased by the original contract guy because he's got the $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he's got him at gunpoint. He's got Schwarzenegger at gunpoint. Vincent came back for him, and they like through twin telepathy figure out how they're going to take this guy out. And they pull the lever and they drop the chain and the reel on his head. And then it just starts like more chain just keeps coming down on him. And I turned to Ty and I was like, do you think he's dead? He goes, I mean, I don't really know. It just kind of depends. He goes, I mean, the thing hit him pretty hard, but if he's just under a little bit of chain afterwards, it's not that bad. And then it zooms out and it's a pile of chains taller than Schwarzenegger piled on top of this guy. And we both just went, oh yeah, no, he's dead.
Yeah. Literally got drowned in chains.
Yeah. So it wasn't even, I don't know. I think it would have been funny-ish still if I hadn't been doing the commentary, but it was so funny because I was trying to do the commentary on it, and I was like, do you think it's and then he was for sure dead.
I think it's pretty funny because the chains falling down, it goes on for quite a long bit.
Long. I was like, they just keep coming.
Yeah. I don't think the comedy's super strong, unfortunately. I think the performances are really good. But for some reason, I just really cared about their relationship. The twins' relationship.
Oh, that's good. They got you.
Yeah, somehow. And when they go to see the doctor that orchestrated their birth.
Uh-huh.
He's like, Arnold, you're the best. You're the best of everything. And then he turns to DeVito and is like, you're just the crap that was left. And I was like, dang, that's kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's a real crappy thing to hear.
Yeah. That you not only turned out worse, but you were genetically predisposed to be worse.
Mm-hmm. But then Julius is like, hey punk, don't say that to my brother.
Yeah. And it's really nice because Julius unequivocally loves his brother from the very first moment.
Mm-hmm.
Even
from
though
the moment he finds out that he even exists. He's like, I gotta go find him, he needs me.
Yeah. I just find it so endearing,
mm-hmm.
how he'll never give up on him. Even he was talking to DeVito about finding their mom and being a real family. And he's like, you'll have a real family, Danny DeVito, and even if you're bad, we're still gonna love you. And dang, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
It got me, man. I teared up.
Yeah. It's so hard for me to orchestrate why I like this movie, because it's a comedy that's not that funny, and it suffers from having a little too many plot points and everything, but I still find it effective.
Yeah. I feel maybe the reason I didn't like it so much is just because I was expecting it to be so funny. Because I was like, bro, you got Danny DeVito, you got Arnold Schwarzenegger, they're pretending to be twins. Like, this is going to be hysterical. And then it wasn't. And then I got caught up on the fact that, like, I wasn't even laughing. And then the fact that, like, you know, a couple of outdated kind of jokes where I was like, those aren't jokes. That was a child being taken advantage of by an adult. That's not funny. And so then you just, like, kind of start piling those things on, and you're like, and so then by the end I was like, I'm a little upset at this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't blame anyone for disliking this movie.
I'm still so interested to hear Mom's thoughts. I think we need to call her tomorrow.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, why did you have us watch this? Tell me your memories of this movie, Mother.
I hope she loved it. That'd be really fun.
I mean, I feel like she had to have loved it. Why else would she have told us to watch it?
Or maybe she just, like, thought back on it and was like, oh, that must have been a good movie. Mm-hmm. It sounds so fun.
It does sound fun. Yeah. I feel like if the comedy writing had been better, it would have been more fun, too.
Yeah, really good. But this movie grossed $200 million. It was $111 million domestically and $104 million worldwide.
Okay.
Internationally. So worldwide is $216,000. $216 million, yep.
The budget was... Oh, I'm seeing two different things here. 18 and 14 million are the two different...
Yeah.
Amounts I'm seeing here.
IMDb says that's 15 million.
Okay.
Estimated. That's really low, though.
I mean, that's nearly 40 million in today's dollars.
Still pretty good. It's a undisputed masterpiece. I think that's what we've concluded collectively.
I'm disputing it. Nope. It's being disputed. It's a disputed masterpiece.
Yeah. A controversial masterpiece. Yeah. I think maybe in the future people will love it.
Yeah.
You know, it'll get its resurgence.
It'll be all because of us. Once our podcast episode comes out, Twins 1988 is going to have its day.
Yep.
No, we'll see. It wasn't like, I don't know. Now that I know what to expect, going into watching it with different expectations would probably kind of change how I maybe feel about it. But I don't think you're going to catch me watching this movie again. So
yeah.
I guess we'll never know.
Why even say that, Braylee? I know you're not going to watch this again.
You're just sitting there waiting for me to be like, but I'm not gonna.
Even movies you've liked, like, didn't you say that, like, you probably won't watch The Thing again, even though you like that movie?
Yeah, no, I won't watch that again. It freaks me out.
Yeah.
But, like, I'll watch Dial M for Murder again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll watch Chicken Little again.
Me too.
Like all of the other animated ones. I'll watch Chicken Little again, even though you hated it.
Yeah, I don't plan on it. If Hudson is watching it, I guess I will.
Gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
We were at my in-laws last night.
Mm-hmm.
At Terry and Meredith's, and Hudson's Uncle Jake gave him a telescope, and Hudson keeps calling it his one binocular.
A monoocular.
my monocular.
Yeah. What a
I
funny
thought it
kid.
was cute. Yeah, I think that's all I got on this one. Not my favorite. Not my least favorite. 102 Dalmatians is definitely worse.
Mm-mm. Nope.
No.
Maybe maybe at the end of the year we can do a ranking of all the movies that we've watched.
Okay.
That would be
Let's do
fun.
it.
That'd be funny.
Yeah. That'll be our ending the year episode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That way the people can know what were the hot movies of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So, folks, if you don't want to be spoiled for Jump In 2007, then go watch that. It'll be a good one. Bye-bye.